The fishermen drowned in River Amur. One of them was my fishing buddy in 1992. Attached to Maria's drum is the bag in which she carried it. This is the stick with which she drummed to the end. Here's an interesting set of small bags. They are the spirits of dead children. Omiya in the Nanai language. They say the Omiyas sit in the tops of the trees of life and chirp like little birds. It is part of the Nanai cosmology. The little birds singing in the tree of life. To unbaptized children, or rather to nameless children. The Nanai don't baptize their children. They don't know much about Christianity there. It was interesting to see an icon on Maria's wall. Her husband had given it to her. He also gave me her drum.
Although death in its different forms is ever present in man's everyday life, its mystery consumes his soul.
What happens in death? Confucius students asked their master what death was. He said, "Why ask about death when you don't know life?" Different religions see this in different ways. The Buddhist nirvana is like a candle going out. Man's life goes out when the flame goes out. One could also say that when a Christian, Muslim, or a Jew yearn for an immortal soul, a Buddhist yearns to let his soul leave this cursed cycle. The Christian religion preaches the immortality of the soul, but also that the body is resurrected. Not even Jesus gave his disciples any clear answer to what happens after death. The epistles of Paul speak more about it. Maybe the thought that they were the last generation never to know death was so important to the first Christian generation that they expected to die together, which would lead to a new world.
In today's organized society, death is an institution which we keep well away from our everyday lives. Our mind, caught up in the web of the intellect, sees death as the antithesis of life and pushes the thought of it as far into the future as possible, in the hope of being able to face the end of life, when the time comes, with serenity and dignity. Kalervo Nissilä, a Finnish hospital chaplain, has seen death from every angle during the many years that he's accompanied people to their last frontier. He has repeatedly observed that in their final hour, people who have let themselves be lulled by their own omnipotence experience emotions they had no idea existed, including rage in the face of their helplessness. Those who have managed to return from the threshold of death often have strange stories to tell. While clinically dead, people may observe their own bodies and medical treatment given them so accurately that their doctors are amazed. In this spirit form, they go to see their friends and relations and may even do them some useful service. After such an experience, people see the meaning of their earthly journey in a totally new light.
Man is not a permanent resident of Earth. We live here for 70, maybe 80 years, and then our remains are buried in the cemetery. Our spiritual being starts its journey to its Creator in heaven. There are many views on reincarnation. The Urantia book says that we are born into a new body when our time is over, some even 3 days after their death. The meaning of the chain of reincarnations is to develop man into a pure spirit, to be able to ascend into the spirit world close to his Creator.
The world's major religions offer narrow and conflicting explanations of death and reincarnation, and often only increase people's anxieties. The views of the Finnish writer Oskar Reponen about life after death were totally reversed after a personal tragedy shook his life. In 1973, he lost his son, Topi, in a tragic road accident. Soon afterwards, his marriage broke down. Despite all this, he was told by the well-known Finnish medium Svea Rihnau that he would soon become a father again, and that Topi would be reborn. The news sounded totally incredible.
At first, I was very suspicious about it all. During the trance, she said she saw my father wearing a uniform. My father had been a colonel, so she got that right. I thought she dug it up from somewhere and knew it. Then she said a little boy of 10 would come soon. He demanded to be let forth, and we couldn't stop him. So, let us welcome him, she said. She said he'd appear right behind Topi, looking very sad, raising his 5 fingers. At the moment, the boy left the room, where the medium had seen him with her inner eyes. She said she saw the boy's death. She said it happens near Kaivopuisto Park. A car is coming in the street, and the boy runs out into the street. She can't stop it since it happened many years ago. Now the car will crush him and kill him. Then Topi shouted, "It's Arvo!" Arvo was the caretaker's son, whom we had seen get hit by a truck. This sign that I didn't understand at the time was clear. The 5 fingers. Exactly 5 months later, we were run over by a car in Spain. Topi died there 4 days later.
Oskar Reponen's second son, Tony, was born on December the 12th, 1976.
About Tony's birth, I'd like to say that I'd received a message about it long before I married his mother. I thought it impossible that he'd be born on December 14th, 1976, as I'd been told over and over. My wife joked about it, and she wasn't even pregnant then. Our friends laughed about it too. During all my meetings with this medium, my son Topi declared 7 times that he'd be reborn in 1976, saying he'd be needed on earth, but his spiritual twin was needed in heaven. All I can say is he was born on the date the medium had given.
The Finnish composer Erkki Ertama has had some amazing experiences in his life, which strongly point to life after death. And in many other ways too, he has been in touch with worlds invisible to human beings. One summer evening in 1991, he was returning by car from his summer cottage in southern Finland, when he spotted a strange silver-grey translucent cloud, which soon solidified into a 3-meter-long human shape. At the same time, Ertama was overtaken by a feeling of terror, the like of which he had never experienced before. The figure disappeared from sight at the end of a 100-meter-long stretch of road. He had also encountered something strange on his way to the cottage at precisely the same place. A key had fallen from somewhere above, and contrary to all the laws of physics, had stuck to the windscreen of his car. When Ertama stopped the car to find out where the key had come from, he could see no living being anywhere around. He later discovered that the key was similar to those used in Finland for bicycles and outboard motors. Erkki Ertama is convinced that man's journey on Earth is guided from other levels of reality, and he fully appreciates the unlimited potential this opens up for him as an artist. But 15 years ago, something happened that exceeded all his expectations.
This paper shows the clearest evidence of rebirth I've ever seen. This is my hand, and here are various symbols.
Joista kohta sitten kerron tarkemmin.